Got a life problem? Danny Bonaducci is here to help. No problem is too big or too small. Call Danny the Life Coach at 1-800-252-1025.
Danny Bonaducci, Life Coach. Danny Bonaducci, Life Coach.
All right, it is time for Danny Bonaducci, Life Coach, with a special appearance by Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones. Let's go right to the phone, shall we, and talk to, I believe it's Ryan in North Bend I can go with. Good morning, Ryan.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad.
What can we do for you?
Well, my wife and I are in the middle of a parenting plan with Washington State right now in Snohomish County. We have mediation set for January 6th and trial set for February 6th. And we're dealing with a very aggressive opposing counsel and a very unwilling mother.
I'm sorry, who's got the aggressive counsel? Your ex-wife, your soon-to-be ex-wife?
The opposing counsel is very aggressive.
All right.
What they're doing is he's manipulating numbers as far as what I make. So my child support's higher than what it should be, and she's not willing, and my ex is not willing to give me any compromise or come to any type of agreement on our counterproposal on the parenting plan. My question is, what can we expect when we go to mediation on January 6th? Is it something that will be successful, or is it something that it's going to be a back and forth type thing, and we're going to waste time in a day, and then we're going to have to end up going to trial?
Mr. Jones?
How does that normally work?
Sure. Well, let's start with this, which is mediation is very often successful in terms of an outcome. And the reason why I say that is usually mediation is so late in the process that the two of you are at the doorstep of trial, which would be the next step. And I got to tell you, trial, while sometimes necessary, is often inconvenient, not very economical.
Right.
So trial is very frustrating, and so oftentimes mediation is when everybody's prepared to the 9th degree and they're ultimately able to get it settled.
Okay. Would you say that in most cases, if you can get it settled, do?
I would, as long as you have a backbone regarding a settlement. And the key there is to have a good attorney that's going to be able to educate you in terms of what the likely outcome at a trial would be. So you're able to write down your bottom line and be able to really have a productive mediation.
All right, hang in there, Ryan.
If you've got a question for the Life Coach or Rick Jones from Goldberg Jones, 1-800-DIVORCE, now would be the time to call 800-252-1025. Divorce questions, a specialty, but if you've got a question for the Life Coach as well, call now. Dave in Lakewood, you're on with Danny Bonaducci and Rick Jones.
Hey, Dave.
Good morning, Danny.
What's
Love
up,
the
buddy?
show.
Thank you, man. I love you.
Hey, well, I've got a brother-in-law who is with this lady, has 2 kids together, not married, and she kind of uses the kids as leverage for everything. For instance, Thanksgiving, we were supposed to have, his birthday was Thanksgiving Day. We were supposed to have Thanksgiving Day party, big plans with the whole family. She, at the last minute, says, no, we're going to my aunt's house for Thanksgiving. Whole family's mad, but nobody says anything because they're afraid she's going to leave with the kids.
Right.
So my question is can she just leave with the kids? They're his kids, but can she just leave with the kids, or should he do something, this may sound silly, about a parenting plan now in case she does this? Because his whole life, basically, she controls it because of the kids.
So you're telling me that there's a woman that uses the kids as a leverage tool. You swear to God that's true, because I've never heard anything like that.
I know. It's never happened to you before, Dan.
No, never.
Keeps us in business, too.
Yeah. So is that your whole question?
Yeah. Well, the concern is that she'll just pack up and leave with the kids, and our side of the family won't ever be able to see these kids anymore.
Is that a real concern, though? You think it's gone that far? She might just get up and go with the kids.
I think she will.
Wow.
Okay. She did it. She has a older daughter who she did this to her first husband. Now, if you can do that to your husband, these two aren't even married. They're living together.
All right, let's turn it over to Rick Jones. What do you got for him?
Yeah, they have a parenting plan, don't they, Dave?
No, they don't.
Okay.
They have nothing.
Okay. Hence the problem. What your brother needs to do is to bring a paternity action, do a motion to establish a parenting plan, because he needs the same rule book that 2 exes have. Because without a rule book, yeah, she's in the driver's seat. Now, once there is a rule book in place, a parenting plan, there's going to be a clause in there that talks about relocation, and it's going to put her and, frankly, him on notice that there's a particular protocol to follow if they desire to relocate. And it doesn't mean that it's a blank check, but it means there's several hoops somebody has to jump through, and usually the ability to object and for the court to review before a relocation is allowed. But he needs to get on the stick here.
Right, because she's in the driver's seat because they never got married. What if a couple months from now, if things are going, he looks at her and says, I've been wasting all this time. I love you. I'm never going to love another. Let's get married. The second she's his wife, she can't split with the kids.
Well, that's not necessarily true either. It's a very odd setting when it comes to not only jurisdiction issues with the kids, but somebody's willingness to flee.
Well, this is why I'm your life coach and not your attorney.
Right. Well, and so Dave does need to get a parenting plan. Yeah. Kind of another easy solution there. Get on that, Dave, and get them sorted out. This is Danny Bonaducci, life coach, with special guest Rick Jones from Goldberg Jones, 1-800-DIVORCE. But the number to call right now is 800-252-1025. Joe in Maple Valley is up next.
Hey, Joe.
Good morning.
Morning. What do you got for us?
In a domestic partner relationship, and if you get a disillusionment, what is the other person entitled to, like in retirement, whatever, in the money department?
Sure. Well, at this point, domestic partner, what used to be domestic partner, is treated very much like a dissolution of marriage. So ultimately, you're looking at applying community property rules. And then it becomes a little bit of a mess, but it becomes more of an accounting or a forensic accounting issue of going back and looking at the length of the relationship, looking at when particular assets or liabilities were established. But it basically puts you right in the ballpark as two people that have been married.
All right, so, when he says it, it just seems like it can be done. When it's happening to you, and I would point this out, and I've pointed out before, if you think, I don't need a lawyer on this, you're just wrong. You'll come out on the short end of that stick every time. And, Rick's my friend, he's right here, but I don't want to hire a lawyer every time. Do it anyway. Just do it anyway. You're going to save in the end, man.
Yeah. 800-252-1025, the number for Danny Bonaducci, life coach, with special guest Rick Jones from Goldberg Jones, handling all of your divorce and custody issues this morning. Todd in Puyallup, you're up next.
Hey, Todd.
Hey, how you doing?
We're all good.
Hey, just got a question for you, Rick. I am recently separated and getting ready to go through the steps of the divorce, and I just want to make sure that, for one, the house is hers. She had it before we got together. We've been together 11 years. I've left the home, and the problem is she quit her job probably 2 years ago, and now just gets paid to through the state for caregiver.
Mm-hmm.
And so the bills that are all due every month I've been paying, and I want to try and get all that separated. About the only thing she can afford is the house payment itself. And I'm going to take every other bill there is. But my question is, if she can't afford everything to live in that house, the bills that go with it, is there a chance of alimony, or she said she's looking for a job.
Yeah, they always say that.
Yeah.
They also say the kid is yours. They say a lot of stuff, man.
Well, let me jump in with that, which is, it sounds like alimony, or at least in this state they call it spousal maintenance, is definitely a concern in your case. Whenever there's a significant disparity of income between two people, it becomes at issue. The fact that you're telling me you're already taking care of all of the bills presently means that I do worry about your exposure. Give me an idea of the difference of income between the two of you.
Well, she basically makes about $1,400 a month.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm about 4 times that. So.
Okay. Then it's definitely an issue. Here's one of the things I'm hearing from you as well, which is you've already moved out, you've been separated, you've been paying all the bills already, so the clock's already started ticking, but what you haven't done is file anything. The real key here is to get a divorce filed, get it in place. You've now drawn a line in the sand. At that point, as of December 14th, the two of you not only are physically separated, but you've also begun the legal process. The reason I say that is the sooner you start that clock ticking, as soon as you turn over that hourglass, the clock starts ticking on your maintenance exposure. So, for example, if you have 3 years of maintenance, don't you wish you would have started that 2 years ago?
Right.
So the key is to start it now. Now, you still want to make the argument, or your attorney's going to make the argument to sort of predate the concept of what you've already been assisting, but draw that line in the sand now. I could not be more serious about that.
All right. Hey, thank you very much, Todd. So, hey, I have one quick question before we wrap this up with Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones. That is that I've always heard, bad idea to leave the house. Don't leave the house. If you leave the house, you're going to lose it. Is that true?
Well, there's two reasons why you wouldn't want to leave the house. One is the asset value of the house. You're already the one out. It's a lot easier to keep you out than to let you back in.
Oh, okay.
Also, a divorce, as you might well know, can take quite a while.
Yeah, it can.
So that's going to be a whole long time when you've got to figure out how to deal with things. Do I sign a long-term lease, what have you? So that's one. The other issue is when it comes to parenting, which is if you're the one out, she's the one in, then certainly the way the courts look at it is they're going to keep the kids in the home. So
right.
by default, the person that's remained in the home is already in a real great spot when it comes to custody.
All right, thank you. And that's Rick Jones, by the way, everybody of Goldberg Jones at 1-800-DIVORCE. Well, I'll just tell you this. It's a very special appearance by Rick Jones of Goldberg Jones.